I want everyone on this Zoom to know that we are starting this episode with what is either one of the best or one of the worst things I've ever written down. And I just want everyone to know that this is going to be either a great or truly, truly terrible joke.
She is a comedian, actress, and Young Turks commenter. Please welcome Aida Rodriguez. Aida, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Let's get into it. What a week. Jimmy and Rosalind Carter celebrated their 75th wedding anniversary this year, the longest marriage in presidential history. Upon reaching the milestone, the couple announced that they're going to try to open things up. See where it takes them. Actually explains why the last time all the ex-presidents and first ladies were together, Rosalind kept trying to get the Bushes and the Obamas to throw their keys in a bowl. I've been fucking this peanut farmer for 75 years. Now which one of you war criminals is going to eat my ass? Said Rosalind Carter.
Who wrote that joke?
I want you to know something. I wrote that. And I'm really sorry. And I do like it. And I'm not really creating ironic distance. I'm happy with it. But I'm also sorry.
It's so funny how your attacks were nonpartisan. They were just you hit them all evenly. You called them all war criminals. That's so 90s. Now, like the war criminal, you have to pick a side.
Well, first of all, let's just be clear. I didn't say that. That's in the voice of Rosalind Carter. Famously, Jimmy Carter didn't drop a bomb, didn't use force. So I think it's in her point of view, but it's also kind of alluring for her. I mean, in the character of the joke, she's like, hey, what if George W. Bush, who I think is a war criminal, engaged in some sexual activity with me? That's alluring to me, Rosalind Carter. After 75 years of sex with Jimmy Carter, the only man I've ever kissed or fucked, per Rosalind Carter's previous interviews, where she did not say fucked, she said kissed, but I drew my own conclusion because they have children.
She's had enough of that peaceful dick. She needs some turbulence. She needs some drama in her life, some dysfunction. You know, especially with, Bush and Obama both got daddy issues.
I just picture, Rosalind Carter just whispering in George W. Bush's ears, like, lie to me, you piece of shit.
What's funny is that it's interesting that this Democrat couple lasted 75 years, let these modern day Republicans, the way they talk about Democrats, is like they're all selling their ass on Biscayne Boulevard in Miami.
75 years. You got to get married real young and you got to be real old to get to 75 years.
Yeah. And you got to be hopeless that that the grass is never going to be greener. And you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to ride this out till the wheels fall off.
I believe Jimmy Carter gave an interview where he apologized for violating the 10 Commandments, violating the commandment coveting thy neighbor's wife. Like, that's as far as he was willing to go, and he was sorry.
Damn.
He coveted, and he regretted it. What a good person. I'm very sorry for that joke.
It's funny.
Believe it in. Rudy Giuliani was suspended from practicing law in Washington, D.C., which sucks because how's he going to get better if he doesn't practice? So stupid.
Rudy Giuliani. Wow. I mean, you know what? I'm fatigued. I have Rudy Giuliani fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've heard his name enough.
So did several of his wives.
I know. But it's funny. Maybe he can get into auctioning. Remember when they ended up in front of the garage for pawn shop wars or whatever?
Yeah. I don't think the Rudy Giuliani story ends well. I don't think it gets better from here.
Wait a minute. The hair dye leaked.
Mm-hmm.
And he farted in public, right? Like
several times, multiple farts. Yep.
They didn't bother to interview a single witness.
And you think the Rudy Giuliani story continues? I thought it ended.
I definitely think we're at the part of the movie where there's words on the screen after the final scene. That's like, Rudy Giuliani later was found in a condo building in Fort Lauderdale, surrounded by $300, several vials of meth, and a letter to the editor. I don't know. But I agree that the movie's over. State officials have set the date for the recall election facing California Governor Gavin Newsom, September 14th. The recall is expected to cost taxpayers $276 million, which is the worst way California has spent that much money since that godforsaken Lone Ranger movie with Johnny Depp. America's dad, Bill Cosby, returned home this week after 3 years in prison following the Pennsylvania Supreme Court's ruling that a non-prosecution agreement with the previous prosecutor should have prevented him from ever actually standing trial. There are reports that he's plotting a comedy comeback. Now, this one's bad, but here's the thing. We have great writers who write jokes for this show, and we have a system. And we have this big document with all the pitches, and if there's one everybody likes, they bold it. You know, and they say, this is a good one. We're all on board for this one. And this one was bolded. Okay. And out of respect for them,
you're going to say
and this great team of people who come together to make this podcast, I'm going to say this part.
Okay.
Bill Cosby's working on a new hour, but the next day you'll only remember the first 10 minutes.
You know, it's funny. I was thinking about Bill Cosby the other day, and I was like, because it's polarized so many people. Like, I was online, and I didn't realize how many people were fighting over this current Bill Cosby story. I didn't know that many people were supporting him. But it's just so funny that I was looking through the comments to see if anybody named Shaniqua was in the comments, because Bill Cosby did this whole thing about the way Black people name their children. And I was like, does all of these people defending him now? I'm like, do y'all remember him employing his respectability politics and shitting on Black people for naming their children the names that they were naming them? So I was looking for the names that were on the list of the names that he said. I wanted to see who was defending him.
Hannibal Buress helped set off a collective acknowledgement of what Bill Cosby had done. It would already been kind of publicly known about what he had done because he was mocking the respectability politics. And that's what set it off. On Wednesday, Egyptian authorities officially released the Ever Given, the ship that blocked the Suez Canal from the canal's Great Bitter Lake, where it was held due to a financial dispute. The bitch is back! Which is great, because my AirPods were stuck on there. I was waiting for give me those AirPods sitting on the Ever Given. This package is delayed.
But that's funny. You know, it's funny. So many people are not paying attention to what's going on. So I can imagine how many people will hear this joke and be like, "Me, what happened? What do you mean? What is he talking about?"
On Wednesday, disgraced former President Donald Trump filed a class action lawsuit against Google, Twitter, Facebook, and their CEOs. The frivolous suit is broadly about censorship, and one of them claims Facebook is a state actor that should be constrained by the First Amendment. Facebook, when reached for comment, said, how did they get this crazy idea so much traction? Like, where does this ridiculous stuff come from? How does this spread? You know? Where are people getting these ideas? I feel like Zuck versus Trump is like Alien versus Predator, in that it's way, way more boring than you think it's going to be.
Remember that they used to have those celebrity wars?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see a debate. I don't want to see Donald Trump in a debate. I want to see him in a physical fight. Like, I want to see him, because I know he can't fight. Like, exactly. So, I want to see him fight.
And like, I can't. That's how I fight. That's how I feel.
That's how Donald Trump fights.
I fight like Donald Trump. I fight like that.
No, when he's not tripping over that one bum leg that he has. Like, I would love to see him and Zuck get into a physical fight. I'm advocating for the fights right now. People are mad with me because they said I'm advocating for violence, and I'm like,
in an arena for pay-per-view, people can make some money.
The MAGA people on one side, the people who read on the other, like just going back and forth. Ah!
Who do you root for? Who do you want? The one who built the terrible system that allowed misinformation to spread around the world, or the one who saw that happening and was like, I can do it. I know what to do. Yeah, I'll use it. So I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, hold my beer. So listen, I just saw a bumper sticker on the freeway on the 10 coming back into LA that said Trump 2024, make votes count again.
Brought to you by Trump, Fox News, and Mark Zuckerberg. That's what they built. Thank you so much. What a wonderful community Facebook is. They got QAnon people running for school board all over the country. That's terrific. Thank you for creating a platform for this kind of information. It's been great to see study after study that shows that once Facebook is in a place, that place radicalizes and becomes more prone to right-wing fanaticism. Terrific. Great product. Congrats to all the Democrats who work there. You've done a great job convincing yourself that it's a reasonable place to be. I think that's terrific.
I love you.
I think that's just fucking terrific. Unbelievable. Yeah, they're great titles and they pay a lot. Meanwhile, an Israeli study found that Pfizer's vaccine was only 64% effective against the infection from the Delta variant, but it's important to note that the study found the vaccine was 94% effective at preventing severe illness and hospitalization. Some experts think that that Israeli study might be an outlier, but nobody says that when they text the tweet that's just the headline, and the headline is just the bad news. Did you get a lot of texts from people? My phone, everybody was texting this 64% number from the Israel study. Did you have that?
Yeah, because I got Pfizer. So yeah. I got a lot of the messages of people who were I don't know if you have these experts in your circle, the experts on vaccines, but I got quite a few that I know. And, in addition to me being chipped for my location, which, I mean, you can pull up on any Google app. Also people wanting my DNA, which I don't know why they would want my DNA, because I am like, I commend anyone who would want my DNA, because they are really aiming, to master the studies on mediocrity.
Oh, come on. Hey, I don't like that. Oh, putting down your own DNA. You got great DNA.
Listen, I appreciate you, but I'm like, why would they want my DNA? There are motherfuckers out here who are working on the cure for cancer that actually came up with these vaccines. And there are people who really think that they want your vaccine, that Bill Gates wants their vaccine. So I had to get all of those text messages.
I think it's amazing to me that like this idea of like the 5G, the magnetism, the secret plot to get your DNA. It's like, I feel like there's two aspects to what make conspiracy theories like so appealing to people. One is like that there's some group of people that actually know what the fuck they're doing somewhere. Like that's a fantasy. Like there's like a, it's like the Area 51 thing, like deep underground. There's like a super sophisticated place where somebody actually knows that all this randomness, that we're in control. But the other piece of it that I don't think gets enough credit is like, part of the conspiracy theory is that like that anybody's paying attention. Like no one gives a fuck about you. Oh, they're gonna. No one gives a fuck about you. They're trying to make you magnetized. They're trying to know where you are at all times. No one cares where you are. No one gives a fuck where you drive your fucking enormous pickup truck that does no work around your exurban town. Like nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah, they really don't. You're not that big of a threat to capitalism to be on the list. You deciding that you're not eating fries from McDonald's anymore is not going to make a dent in the economy and the capitalism monster that runs this country. And I think it's funny that people think that they are that important. That's what the internet does, though.
Well, it's also just that like important. Like you're interesting. Like what is your route every day that you think is so important? Like. Yeah, wow. We got our eyes on this MAGA guy from outside Cleveland. He did get up and go to work, and then he did stop by the supermarket, and he did go home again. We'll check back tomorrow to see if there's any diversion. So far, nothing. It seems like right now he's either at. Wait a second. He is either. Nope, it's a Buffalo Wild Wings. Sorry, never mind, everybody. It's a Buffalo Wild Wings. He's at a Buffalo. Yes, the one on Jog Road. Yep, that's the one. It's the same one. Not even the other one. Not the one that's further away. Even though they're usually less busy. I know. No, it's just the one right by his house.
What do you mean the mango habanero? No.
They're out of the mango habanero spicy dip, spicy sauce. He's going with the medium buffalo. Medium buffalo.
What that means?
What's that?
What that means? According to these people, you know what that means? You know what that means? Every time you go to the medium, you're a centrist. Not good.
He's a centrist. He's a centrist on the wings. Meanwhile, This is what is on Fox News right now.
Meanwhile, 7 minutes after the top of the hour, one of the big stories, been with us for the last 2 years, is COVID-19. The origin is the top story, but the focus of this administration on vaccination is mind-boggling.
How dare these people talk about the solution to the problem? We want to talk about the problem of the problem exclusively. So Fox News spreading misinformation about vaccination is how you end up with a new Yale study that found that the US vaccine rollout prevented 279,000 deaths and 1.25 million hospitalizations. And a new Washington Post poll found that 47% of Republicans said they likely won't get vaccinated. Fox News, we radicalized our audience to win elections, and now they're so rabidly anti-science and bigoted that they would rather die than trust a doctor with an Italian name. That's that's where they're at. Fauci, I don't trust it. It's ethnic. No, thank you.
It is. Well, did you get those conspiracies about Fauci? Him and the CDC are in on it.
Look, here was Fauci's plan to become fabulously wealthy. Step 1, spend 40 years working for the government to establish trust. Then, only then, once the pandemic comes, which conveniently will happen after that period of time, that's when the big bucks roll in. That's when Fauci takes his. That's when Fauci gets his beak wet.
But you know what's funny? They didn't have that much vitriol against the lady who actually lied to them. So Burke sat there, lied. Burke sat there and made faces while Trump lied. She made faces while Huckabee lied. No problem. Fauci is like, this. I read the emails that they leaked. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, super scandalous.
What we have learned from this pandemic is people would rather literally die than admit someone whose politics they don't like has a point. They would rather die. Yeah. They'd rather literally die. Aida Rodriguez, thank you so much for being here. That was so much fun. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me.